E agora, o que fazer?
Quanto tempo de live?
9h30.
Pô, 10 horinhas tá bom.
Oh, depende.
Era.
É porque amanhã é um dia que provavelmente tu vai fazer mais.
Ele era muito crianção, né? Sabia que quando ele saiu da Nova, ele foi ser coordenador em outra empresa?
Mas eu vou parar lá e, tipo, nem 8 horas.
Daí saiu fora. Foi demitido.
Quit following me.
Hum...
É que o irmão dele era da fonte, né? Então era alguma que o irmão dele era. É. Não, mas antes da fonte acabar, ele foi demitido. Né? O William, porra. É que tinha o Lucas, que é uma pessoa, e o William é outra pessoa. Quem enviou o currículo do William foi a Carol.
Dad, what's wrong? Dad?
Não, na auditoria ele era bonzinho. Na auditoria.
Don't be scared. Dr. Baishu
No
will be
começo, né,
back
Jorge?
soon.
Ele sempre meteu o Miguel feio.
How is he doing?
Não, mas no
Depois ele
começo ele
falou que
fazia as
ele...
paradas.
Dr. Baishu,
Feio, ele
you're back.
fazia, tinha ligação que ele nem ouvia, ele só falava que cancelou e botava um
And you
motivo.
suddenly started coughing.
Não, mas isso foi
When
depois,
Quay
pô.
left,
Pô, desde sempre ele falou.
Quay, please
Não,
Quando
isso
ele
é
tava
porque ele
com
tava
preguiça,
puto.
ele metia essa.
don't worry,
Tô
Ayu.
louco, Jorge.
I will cure your father.
Já era no final, já tá puto.
Baishu's not
Daí
gonna
ele
use
meteu essa, mas no
Tang
começo eu
Shan's
via, eu
secret
monitorava.
again, is he? Is there really no
Todo
other
mundo
way
que
to
começou
save
ali, no
Yaya?
começo eu monitorava. Tu, o Raul,
Following me.
o Cadinho, o William.
Meu Deus do céu.
Uhum.
Aí o pessoal tem que encontrar a porta.
Ela quer entrar, ela tá tentando atravessar a porta.
Não, ela quer entrar no banheiro. Ela quer atravessar o banheiro pra depois atravessar pra cá.
Quando a Kelly era coordenadora?
O que tu tá fazendo, sua estranha?
Cadê o meu cachorro? Cadê? Vem aqui! Vem!
Não, mas no outro dia a Kelly deu feedback dele.
Vem aparecer aqui. Vem cá. Vem aqui, cara. Ela tá brava contigo, ó. Vem. Vem aqui. Ashley, vem.
Amor, ela achava que tinha alguém dentro. Ela acha que tem alguém dentro do banheiro.
E o quê?
Abre a porta pra ela vir. Vem aqui. Vem. Oi, meu Deus do céu. Não, não me vem com
Agora
esses
brinca com a mini copa.
teus brinquedos aí.
Não é nem
Vem
uma
cá.
copa inteira.
Vem cá. Vem cá. Aqui, ó. Pera aí. Assim. Esse aqui é o cachorro. Tá bom, tu não queres, né? Tu só quis passar esse teu rabo cheio de pelo aí na minha calça, né?
Isso aí. Vai,
Sua estranha.
vai. Tchau.
Eu não vi, não posso falar. Ô, Jorge. Tu viu a namorada do William? É que o William é estranho. O William era estranho. Não, mas ele era porcão, ele era porcão. O Raul ficava tirando ele direto. Por causa disso. Não, mas ele cresceu pra caralho desde que antes do home até voltar. Mas o cara ria lá no seguro, né?
Só isso que fez o dia, né?
De repente dá pra fazer. Daria pra deixar só passando alguma coisa? Daria. Ainda não acho legal.
Não é legal isso não.
How are you feeling, Dad? Are you still hurting anywhere? You're not gonna suddenly collapse again, are you?
Much better, Ayu. I'm feeling much better. In fact, I can't explain it, but somehow I feel even better than usual. Wait, where's Dr. Baiju? I still haven't had a chance to thank him. Seems he moved me here before I came to.
Master said he needed to take a quick rest and asked me to bring you out of the treatment room. He hasn't emerged yet, so he must still be resting.
Oh, really?
Tem água mesmo.
Speaking of which, has there been any...
No.
Lá em
The
casa tá sem
Adventurers
água
Guild
também.
hasn't gotten back to me yet.
Aí é uma loucura,
I'll
né?
go check with them again in a bit.
Só que no bagulho de condomínio geralmente eles avisam, né?
Don't forget what Master said. You're still not out of the woods yet, Jialio. I strongly suggest that you stay and rest at Boo Boo Pharmacy for now. I can accompany Ayu to the
Deixa ele
Adventurers Guild.
sair. Vai.
I suppose you're right. I'll have to rely on you this time. Though, on the bright side, this means I can thank Dr. Baiju in person once he's finished resting.
Traveler, Baiju hasn't shown his face ever since he went in to treat Jialiang again. Do you think he... Huh? Hey, wait up!
Não tem água nem pra dar descarga. Se a gente lavar o roupa hoje. Será que lavou?
Deve ter lavado, né? Se ainda tem água agora, tá fraco, mas ainda tem.
You're finally awake? That was far too risky.
There was no time. I had no other choice.
não
Jianli's
faço
design
ideia.
is quite brilliant.
Tinha, mas
She
pelo que eu
makes
sei não tinha
numerous
mais.
innovations that I can learn from. Alas, if only there wasn't a catch.
So, how much longer do you think Baiju's gonna nap? They've been outside waiting for you the whole time while you were asleep.
All right.
Surely he hasn't. There's no way he could have just... Who's talking behind our backs again? Ah! Baiju! Changsheng!
Of course. There's no need...
Jialiang seemed fine yesterday. Why did he need more life-saving treatment again so soon?
I made an error in my initial diagnosis.
Data
Jialiang
2
is in
de
fact
8 de
suffering
23.
from more than
Municípios:
one ailment,
Florianópolis,
and as a result,
bairro
his
Balneário,
life force
Estreito,
depleted
Barreiros,
at a greater
Colorinha,
rate than I
Canto,
had
Capoeiras,
anticipated.
Estreito de
Sim.
novo,
You
Jardim
mean,
Atlântico e Monte
even if he
Cristo.
got all the poison out of him, he'd still be sick?
Yes.
Limpeza do
But more
reservatório.
pertinently, the poison in Jialiang's system is there
Está
precisely
prevista para
because it is being
meia-noite a
used to
execução do serviço de
manage his
manutenção
underlying medical
preventiva.
condition. Jialiang has a rare congenital heart condition,
Ô, Jorge.
and ongoing treatment is essential to maintain the healthy
Reabastecimento a
functioning
partir.
of his
Peraí,
heart
filho, só um
meridian.
minuto. A partir das
Left
8 horas,
untreated,
previsão de
it puts
normalização
the
do
patient
fornecimento
at
de
risk
água
of
até as
coughing up
11.
blood and fainting,
Tá.
and in the longer term causes
Volta.
irreversible damage to the internal
Pode falar,
organs.
filho.
Though it was
Como é que
created
tu
from God
pesquisa
remains,
SIAP
this formula is
no...
not a poison.
Had he not
Opa.
taken it all these seeds,
Tem que achar o órgão tudo?
Using
Não,
poison to
tu
treat
bota
the disease is hardly a viable long-term solution.
SIAP servidor
And the
ou
poison
SIAP
accumulated in his system,
pensionista.
it
Se um
began
não
to
der, bota o
impact
outro.
his
Daí o órgão tu
cognition.
bota qualquer um.
Moreover, the longer he relied
qualquer
upon
um.
this medicine,
É.
the more resistant his body became to it. Jiang Li had to concoct ever greater quantities to ensure its continued efficacy, or he could have still perished at any
Que cachorrinho
moment.
difícil, né?
that explains why Ayu said his dad has been getting worse. And why his mom went off to gather herbs.
God remains are extremely dangerous to be around, because humans have no natural defense against them. I shudder to think how many times Jiang Li has exposed herself to them. I fear that the situation is just as that Adeptus described. In an effort to save Jia Liang's life, Jiang Li has abandoned all regard for her own safety.
I never suspected that even Zhang Li would turn to the same path as so many others over the years. Perhaps this is the inevitable course of fate. To sacrifice one's own life to save others. To go beyond.
Well, I think that it's too early to say with any certainty what fate has in mind. In any case, I have stabilized Jia. Her regular exposure to God remains over such a long period will have been, and given that she's already been missing for several days, I am fearing the worst.
Agora deixa eu cancelar. Tudo que tem pra cancelar.
It's me, Traveler, Dr. Baiju.
It's Jialiang! Don't tell Paimon you overheard everything already.
Dr. Baiju, please let me come with you. You've already done so much for my family. I can no longer just sit here and watch while you put yourself at risk for Jiang Li's sake. After all, if it wasn't for me, she wouldn't have had to put herself in harm's way in the first place. I know I won't be of much help in battle, but at the very least, I can show you the way. I'm sure I'll be able to remember. I know there's a spot where she says goodbye to me every time she goes to gather her herbs.
Be careful. If you get too agitated, your blood pressure and stress levels will rise, putting.
No! We're out of time! We have to go now. Right now. Before I forget everything again. This trip will be extremely dangerous.
Ficou
and
meia
there's
hora
a
com...
very real possibility that you will not return from it. Are you sure you're prepared for that? I never expected to live this long in the first place. My death is already long overdue. So why should I fear it? There's only one thing I fear now, and that's that I'll forget her again before we manage to find her. Very well. Then follow me.
Dr. Baiju, are you heading out again?
Yes. This could be a long one. Could you please prepare a dose of the usual formula? Please add an extra measure of mistgrass pollen, and 1 dose each of the ingredients from the 3rd and 5th compartments of my medicine cabinet. I hope it works.
Dr. Baiju, do you mean?
Hop to it now, and remember to be careful with the cauldron this time. You don't want to burn yourself again.
Okay.
rises. Squall and Fury.
That strange feeling is back. It's just like the day I went missing. It's as if something inside me is trying to guide me somewhere.
The Motherlode's influence is growing stronger. But is it because we're getting closer to the source? Or because the leakage of Che blood is growing more severe? Jialiang, can you sense which direction the source is in?
Não.
I think it's
Inclusive, minha câmera tá tortinha, tá parecendo uma frestinha ali que me incomoda, tá?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Agora sim.
I feel a dull ache in my heart. This must be the way. This place feels familiar. I think I've been here before.
There is an inauspicious presence here. Even I can sense it.
I think I remember this place.
Ô Jorge,
Hum.
como é que eu vejo um chamado, consultar chamado sem o teu número de chamado?
Onde?
Maybe you should
No
rest
Oriente.
here while we continue the search.
No, I have to keep going.
Sem teu número, tu não vai
Jiali is
conseguir
still
tá
waiting
vendo.
for me.
Tá, eu esqueci o
Sorry.
chamado. Mas eu chamei pra cancelar.
Foi agora?
Foi.
Só vê o número do chamado que tem ali e testa o outro número. Tipo, o número subsequente. Se foi agora, vai estar. Tu esqueceu um chamado ou tu esqueceu todos os números?
Achei. É só o último número que mudou.
É, ele vai de um em um. Só que às vezes, tipo, entra 3 chamados junto. Coisa assim.
Sim. Deu boa. Vou acabar essas aqui. Em cada eu vou fazer o pan. E o safra. E já vou arrumar tudo certinho pra mandar todos os e-mails. E amanhã de manhã eu vou mandar todos os e-mails do pan.
Sure.
Olha, tirei errado, né? E parabéns pra mim.
This place gives Paimon the creeps. Who knows what we're gonna find up ahead? The digging marks here appear amateur. A thieves' tunnel?
Mentira.
Paimon has heard rumors about treasure around these parts before. Maybe it was the treasure hoarders that dug this tunnel.
Judging by the tools they left behind, it's certainly a possibility. But why did they abandon this place without even stopping to...
I remember now. She took me here once and told me that she'd found a way to save me in this cave. But she said that the method would cause me to... curses. Why can't I remember what she said?
Easy, Jialiang. Come on, let's keep going.
Rain outlines your fate.
A bitter pill to swallow.
Eu acabando o que eu tô fazendo, eu já vou.
Whoa, there's a sensor here. Those treasure
Até
hoarders
às 5,
sure
né,
made
Maoni?
themselves at home.
I believe this sensor was used to burn a monster repelling incense.
A monster repelling incense? You
Falou,
sure?
Dudu.
Because we did run into that group of monsters just now.
The incense was burned several days ago. If I had to guess, the monsters we fought just now were enticed here by some entity deeper inside the cave. No doubt an encounter with the very same entity was what prompted the treasure hoarders to flee and abandon their After them, Jiang Li was the next person to discover this place.
That's right. This sensor, it belongs to Jiangli. Yes, this was the place. This is where I told Jiangli to give me the poison. I'm fine. Let's keep going. I can...
É a cota.
I can feel it. We're getting close. We're almost there. It's right up ahead. The place where we made a pact together to...
We can keep going now.
From the looks of it, the energy released by this mechanism can not only clear barriers, but also be conducted by corresponding mechanisms. Perhaps it's something we can make use of.
Paimon doesn't see any barrier
Malone
breaking
tá virando.
mechanisms around here. There are tracks here.
Tá virando?
It looks like they're connected to something.
Ué?
Shall we follow it and see where it takes us?
Rise!
Ah, não engravidar.
Gather! The wind rises. Quit following me. following me. Too slow.
Georgette,
Opa,
estou indo para casa. Já acabei o
filho.
olé. E agora tenho o Safra para fazer. Eu vou fazer em casa. E tem o clube também. Ah, estou cansado.
Eu vou finalizar isso aqui. Eu vou lá fazer rango e depois eu abro outra live se pá.
Boto fé. Eu quero ver se eu vou conseguir fazer alguma coisa além de trabalhar e jantar. Que eu duvido muito. Mas é isso aí. Eu vou indo lá de base. Pode crer?
Fechou, feio. É isso,
Falou,
valeu.
negão. Tamo
Falou,
junto.
feio. Tamo junto.
Too slow.
Jiangli!
Look out! There's a monster next to her!
The god remains must have lured them here. Watch my back.
Unsightly insects. Too slow.
Dr. Baiju, how serious is it? Is she...
I can still feel a pulse, but her condition is quite grave. The god remains here are encroaching on her cognition, much as the poison in your system did to you. If we don't eliminate it soon, then even if we save her life, I fear that she may never wake up again.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's destroy the remains right away! It's not as simple as that. Don't you remember what Baiju said? The poison within Jialiang's body is inextricably linked to the god remains here. If the source is purged, the poison in his system will stop having any effect. And the poison within Jialiang's body is keeping his heart condition under control. So, if it stops working... Oh no. Are you saying...
Indeed. If the god remains here,
I wondered when this day might come.
Wait! But, Baiju, you're a great doctor, surely...
you could continue to take the poison.
It appears to me that she was striving to concoct your medicine for you. Right?
Dr. Baiju, give it to me.
The god remains have reached her internal...
But Dr. Baiju, I'm all too aware if I continue to sustain my own life using this wretched substance, not only would I know for a fact that I should have died over a decade ago, the fact that I've been around to see Ayu grow up is already a great blessing from Rex Lapis. If my choice can bring Jiangli back, then even if I die...
Jialiang...
After cheating death for so long, it seems I've grown somewhat addicted to life.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm sorry that I won't be able to repay your kindness in this life.
Jialiang...
I am sure that over the years...
Mortals are fate. What a crazy situation. Jiangli risked it all to save Jialiang's life. And now...
I've seen many final...
In the human realm, Oh, think at least.
The path they chose was indeed a heroic one. But when I think of those, I cannot help but think that theirs are the lives.
When all this began. So. I've said my goodbyes. My time is.
As you wish.
It will eat away at both your cognition.
Mom, something's really wrong with Dad.
Don't fret, Ayu. I will gather some medicinal herbs right away. I promise you, nothing will happen to our family.
Why would these memories come to mind now? The longer we live, the tighter we cling to what we have. Oh, how I would love to hear your voice one last time.
Jialiang! 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 Jialiang!
Dad, are you awake?
Jiangli, are you? Didn't I... Huh? What are these?
How does it feel to come back to life?
Do you feel strange or different in any way? If so, could you describe...
Dr. Baishu, I thought that I was going to...
Die? You did indeed. As things stand now, you're more akin to a zombie than a human.
I'm a zombie?
That's right. Before we set off, I asked Chi-Chi to prepare an elixir of immortality. With its help, you have been suspended in the space between life and death. Of course, this is but a crude imitation of an Adeptus art. I don't expect it to extend your life indefinitely. Whether it will keep you alive for a few days, a few months, or a few years, I am as interested as you to find out. But, however long you have left, I believe it should be more than sufficient time for you to say your final goodbyes before departing the world in peace. I hope that Director Who finds this arrangement to be a satisfactory one.
An elixir of immortality? How'd you cook that up? Ugh.
It's a work in progress that hardly lives up to its name, and it would have had no effect were it not for Jia Liang's. In the end, I am merely a doctor. I understand very little of the great principles governing life and death and the perpetual cycle of yin and yang. All I know is that if I'm presented with a life that deserves to be saved, I will do everything in my power to save them. And even this would have counted for nothing without Director Who's assistance. After all, did you not tell Jia Liang to show us the way before we set off for Qingce Village?
Oops. And I'm busted.
Without Director Who nudging things in the right direction, we may not have found Jiangli in time.
No wonder he didn't mention the elixir back then.
Director Who told me to keep her suggestion a secret, but it seems nothing escapes Dr. Baiju's attention.
Quieto, né? Não falei mais nada, tem tempo.
Sense of smell.
Mas o cara tá aqui com a cobra dele, ó. A menina da funerária. Rapaziada estranha junto.
Leave it to Boo Boo Pharmacy to snatch the perfect opportunity right out of my hands at the last hurdle. Never mind. I'll just have to put it down in the books as a deferred consideration. One Chi-Chi was enough of a conundrum. The last thing I need's another one. If I'd known this was coming, I'd have whisked him off to the Wangsheng funeral parlor the moment I found him.
You stay away from my dad! When I grow up, I'm gonna become an even better doctor than Mom and Baiju, and cure Dad for good!
Oh, is that right? Well, you wouldn't be the first person who's tried to put Wangsheng funeral parlor out of business. If you're serious about it, you'll have your work cut out for you. Traveler, Paimon, I'll catch you all another time.
Is she finally gone? All's well that ends well. If you ask Paimon, we should probably do something to celebrate this hard-earned family reunion. At times like this, a grand celebratory feast is in order.
It feels like it was a whole...
Yay! Paimon can't wait! Alright, first things first, off to the market for some fresh ingredients. Let's go!
Wait up! I'll come too!
Baiju, thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
Don't mention it, Jiangli. I was just doing my duty.
Just your duty, huh? Baiju, Changsheng, would you mind if we took this conversation outside? Time flies. It's been so long since we bade each other farewell in Chenyu Vale. Changsheng, you're the same as ever. You haven't changed one bit.
You, on the other hand, have changed a lot.
You're right. My younger self would have never imagined that things would one day turn out this way. Or that you'd turn out this way. Baizhu. I've taken a look at your elixir of immortality. It's not altogether dissimilar from the poison I concocted in terms of the...
I have to say, Jiangli, it was a stroke of genius to use poison to maintain life. I hope you're not too upset at me for copying your methods.
No, not at all. With your intellect, even if you'd never seen my poison, I believe you would have eventually arrived at the same approach. But I'm still impressed by how quickly you managed to gain such a thorough understanding of it. Jialiang's still only been in your care for a few days. Not just that, you even managed to improve upon the original formula. That cannot be explained by intellect alone. Baizhu, be honest with me. Did you try—
Huh. Told you the truth with
Life force isn't the only thing that Changshang's contract lets you transfer between bodies, is it?
Nothing gets past you, Jiangli. You
Esse
are
maluco é o
correct.
Orochimaru. Eu
Besides
sabia que ele
life
tinha alguma
force,
coisa com o Orochimaru.
Changshang's secret art
Safadão.
also allows for the transfer of toxins and diseases. When I treated Jia Liang for the second time, I transferred some of the poison from his body into my own. Not only did this allow me to alleviate the burden on him, but it also gave me an opportunity to study its properties. There is no need to worry about any long-term consequences to my health, however. Now that the source has been destroyed, any remaining poison in me will have already dissipated.
But you took such a huge risk. If we hadn't destroyed the god's remains back there, then even you might have... What am I saying? I'm in no position to criticize you for this. The reason I left our master and went into hiding all those years ago was that he was getting old, and I didn't want him using up any more of his own life force to treat my husband. But in the end, how were my methods any different? I risked one life to save another, and then you tried the poison on yourself too. It looks like both of us have ended up going the same way as our master before us. Are all disciples of Chenyu Vale destined to turn out this way? To live a short life, having given away our own for the sake of others? To fight relentlessly against the natural course of life and death, whatever the cost? Maybe
We are doctors, Jiangli.
Baizhu, I can tell that over the year. Can you still stop before it's too late?
I think you know the answer, Jiangli.
Hey, food's ready! Mom, come and join us. The Traveler taught me a load of new recipes and said even Dad will be able to take...
Yes, darling. Mom will be there in just a second. Baizhu, I know I won't be able to convince you, but please don't forget that if one day Chi-Chi, Gui, and all the friends who have grown fond of you, they will all...
There's no need to worry, Jiangli. I know what I'm doing.
I can only hope so.
Baizhu, what did Jiang Li mean by not around anymore? Are you gonna be okay? Every single mortal I've ever contracted with, including Baizhu and Jiang Li's master, has passed away at a young age. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. You said that the contract with you helps...
It is a very long story.
Long ago, when plagues ravaged the land, one doctor made a pledge to rid the world of pain and suffering. But even the most ingenious mortal medicine could not stay the tide of disease. And after working tirelessly for many years, even his dearest loved ones fell sick and bade their final farewell. Legends told of an herb lord in Chenyu Vale who could cure any illness known to mankind. The doctor sought the herb lord, but found only a white snake, its breathing weak and its power all but spent.
Sign this contract and let our lives be joined. Then I will impart to you the secret art of healing. But be warned, this art will harm your own health.
With means beyond human ken, the doctor could now reverse the process of death. And yet, the time still came to say goodbye. Only now, the one departing was the doctor, his life force spent. His final act in life was to pass on the contract to his final patient, his favorite disciple. The disciple chose to dedicate their life to saving the lives of others. And generation upon generation followed in these footsteps. Since I inherited this contract, I've always respected the path taken by my predecessors, and followed it myself unquestioningly. That is, until I tried to use the art to save my own disciple's beloved. She begged me not to use up my own life force. She said that this art is a poisoned chalice, an evil and unnatural practice. She did not wish to sacrifice one life for the sake of another, when both were lives she treasured. Only then did it occur to me. Did I not suffer when my master passed away, just as patients' families do at their loved one's deathbed? Are not the lives cut short by this contract just as worthy of saving as any patients? What is this contract to us? Medicine or poison? Alas, I no longer have enough time left to find the answer. I entrust to your care both Changsheng and this final question. May you find a remedy for this conundrum, which has ailed us so.
Time and again, no matter how much I try to warn them or balance their chi, I can never save them. And you? What's your answer?
If I abandoned the contract and left you without a host, what would happen?
I suppose I'd spend my final moments taking a nice nap on Mount Yaojin. Then I'd be reunited with my old friends and your predecessors.
Then it's decided. If there's a life in front of me that deserves to be saved, why shouldn't I do everything within my power to save it?
Once again, it's the same answer. So be it. Close your eyes. Who knows how many more people will take on this contract?
None. This contract will end with me.
My contract has strict requirements on the host's natural temperament. All my hosts have been most pure of heart.
But when one with an altruistic nature gains access to this art, they are more seduced than the average person by the miracle of overturning the laws of life and death. Though they know better than anyone else the fate that awaits them, when faced with the sorrows of humanity and the pain of losing their nearest and dearest, they cannot help but reach beyond human means. They are like moths that throw themselves into the flame, seeking a glimmer of hope in a dark world filled with pain and suffering.
So, Baiyu, does that mean...
I suppose that would make me a moth that yearns for the light, but doesn't want to be burned to a crisp. Changsheng's art can transfer pain and suffering between people, but it cannot reduce the total amount of pain in the world. It's just like we witnessed. Either Jia Liang feared for Jiang Li's life, or Jiang Li grieved over Jia Liang's sacrifice. I have nothing but the utmost respect for my predecessors, who sacrificed their lives for their principles. But I do not wish to join their ranks, nor do I wish to pass on this contract to anyone else in the future.
Huh? But didn't you already transfer a ton of diseases onto yourself?
What makes a poison, poison? And what makes a disease, a disease? When it comes down to it, are not both mechanisms that affect the operations of the human body? If disease is defined as deviation from normal functioning, then who knows? Perhaps the true elixir of immortality could in fact be a kind of poison. Many may view the notion of searching for immortality in poisons and illnesses as a flagrant violation of the natural order. But to me, it is no different from the way our ancestors tested the medicinal qualities of herbs by sampling each and every one. I don't want those who come after me to lose their lives to this contract. Nor do I wish for Chengsheng to perish from losing her host. This leaves only one solution, doesn't it? Precisely. I will be Changsheng's final host, and the tradition of passing down the contract will end with me.
Even the gods of old struggle to achieve true immortality. First you want to save others, then you want to save yourself.
But isn't wanting to have it all what makes us human? For a selfish moth like me, who's afraid of the flame yet yearns for the light, the only path forward is up towards the moon.
Huh. For once, Paimon just does not know what to say.
Dr. Baiju, Traveler, what are you still chatting about? The food's about to get cold.
We also have coconut milk. Okay, fine. Let's go grab some food. Paimon has a bunch of burning questions, but they can wait till after we... I do envy Paimon sometimes. Eating her fill is enough to satisfy her.
True. And yet, are such things as these not precisely why we mortals cling desperately to the life we have?
É isso. Finalizada a quest lendária do Baiju. E agora vamos viver. É nóis. Valeu. Depois eu volto.